The tidal wave of cold concrete swept towards him as he fell from the skyscraper again. Icy steel and black windows framed his silent descent. Fierce wind burned his eyes and fingertips, and his stomach was wrenched up into his throat. The scene was so vivid that it could have been real life. There was no need for the natural human intuition that would have normally swept fear through his rubber limbs. Instead, he was able to revel in the fact that he was so cute and so exhilarated, so alive. And although his body was tossed and twisted about as it catapulted towards Earth, his thoughts became weightless, suspended in time. During these descents, he only had himself. There were times of introspection that he could never get in the waking world of distractions and obligations. Previously, his dreams had always placed him with his work briefcase during such peaceful falls, as if to constantly remind him of the trivialities that lay on the other side of consciousness. There was no briefcase this time. If, while asleep, he felt more alive than he ever could during his monotonous Earth life, were his dreams in fact his reality? What is the meaning of reality anyways? As the wind rushed past his apple-red cheeks, thoughts began to bubble up inside his head. To what extent do our dreams reflect this reality? To what extent are our dreams our reality? Is my waking life merely a dream that I awake from every time I fall asleep? These questions tortured him, and he shut his eyes, attempting to clear his mind. For a brief second, he was able to calm himself. He continued to accelerate downwards in complete silence. A single thread of thought, one grain of sand, fell into his head, breaking the silence. How strange it was to be alive at all. People live their lives in curiosity, surrounded by boundaries. He chose to live within the limits of his own creativity. For the first time in a long while, however, he became afraid. If this dream were more real to him than any waking life experience could be, then wasn't he crashing down towards his death? Was he in fact not dreaming at all? He shifted his weight around in the air so that he was facing the icy black windows. Through them, he could barely make out the shapes of other people within the building, going about their daily lives, paying him no mind. They were shaking hands, laughing, arguing. He shut his eyes again, feeling very small. He couldn't remember the last time he had shaken someone's hand, the last time he had cried, the last time he had felt ill. His dreams had never given him a chance to do any of these things. He opened his eyes to stare at the glass again, and noticed that the reflection that floated down with him was an unfamiliar one. He shouted out into the wind, but no sound emerged from his throat. The cruel concrete below was very close now, ready to consume him. Crying out once again, he thrashed out desperately towards the skyscraper, and his fingers grated against the cold steel and glass. He withdrew, and noticed that his hands were bleeding. Never before had he bled in a dream. The earth was now almost upon him, and he clenched his teeth in the face of certain doom. Shifting again to look through the skyscraper windows, he noticed that the people from inside had moved towards the glass to stare at his falling figure. They stood, silent and grim, slowly melting into the building. The world grew hazy, a swirl of colors now, and he hurtled into the sidewalk. There was no sound, though, not even an impact. No shattering bones, no buckling concrete. Just silence. He awoke in his bedroom. All the shapes still blurred into each other, but slowly shifted into focus. A gentle, tired light oozed in through his half-closed shutters. Shaking, yet determined, he lifted himself out of bed and shuffled towards the bedroom door, through which radiated a brilliant, blinding light.